Here we are in Memphis, Tennessee for the 2006 Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships. Hi everyone, I'm Sean Royster alongside former top 5 professional Aaron Katz. Aaron, here we are, the most prestigious racquetball tournament in history, the US Open. They bring in the portable court, the crowd screaming. This is going to be a lot of fun, Aaron.
It's very exciting, very fun to be here. Every year, this year in particular, you really feel the buzz throughout the club. The players know this is the place you want to perform. This is where you make racquetball history, and the road to #1 goes through Memphis, Tennessee.
So, Aaron, I want to get into something here. Before we get into this match, let's talk about the fact that there is a player missing from this draw. The #1 player in the world, as we know it, Kane Wazelinchuk, a 3-time world champion, a 3-time defending champion of this tournament, not in this draw, Aaron.
Kane serving a 2-year suspension due to a positive drug test, coming off possibly the most dominant 3-year period in pro racquetball history, creates a huge gap for this title and a huge gap for the year-end #1.
Which means we will see names in this draw that we've never seen before. Andy Hawthorne, not somebody you generally see, but look at this. Beats an amazing veteran in this tournament. Here he is playing in the quarterfinals against Carson.
A good player. Andy, he's kind of a cross between a good up-and-comer and a bit of a journeyman. He's been playing several years. He's won some matches, had a great win in the round of 16, beat a very solid tour veteran, Jason Thorner, in a tough 5-game match, and he'll be very tested, very prepared, as he will need to be against a very, very seasoned and tough Carson today.
Now, Carson, ranked #2 in the world, had an amazing match against Kane last year, if you remember. The crowd on their feet, probably the most exciting match I've ever seen. And here we are, Rocky. Who did he have to deal with to get to this match against Andy today?
You know, Rocky played Hiroshi Shimizu from Japan. Tough player, really not of Rocky's caliber. Rocky understands the consequences of this tournament, the opportunity he has with Kane not being here. I expect him to step up big, both against Andy and in this tournament.
So Rocky very fresh, Andy Hawthorne coming off a 5-game barn burner. This should be an exciting matchup. Quarterfinals here on the Tennis Channel. It's the 2006 Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships. We'll be right back. The Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships is brought to you by Choice Hotels International, family of hotel brands with over 5,000 locations and 8 different brands worldwide, offering every type of accommodation in every price range. We meet all your travel needs. For reservations, visit us at choicehotels.com today. Choice Hotels, we'll see you there. And by Wilson Art Flooring. If it's tough enough for pro racquetball, it's tough enough for your home. Enjoy the beauty and durability of Wilson Art Flooring, available at fine floor covering centers everywhere. Also, Nuveen Investments, dedicated to helping you reach your goals in life. Ask your financial advisor today how Nuveen's growing range of equity and fixed income products can help you support your long-term plans. And by USA Racquetball, your link to the greatest game on earth. To learn more about how racquetball can improve your quality of life, visit usaracquetball.com for all the details. It was almost 50 years ago when Danny Thomas had a dream of creating a unique research hospital devoted to curing catastrophic diseases in children. More than just a treatment facility, this would be a research center for children from all parts of the world. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital has always played a big part in the sport of racquetball. Every year since the US Open began here in Memphis, the players take time out to go over and visit these children. The Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships has donated now over $100,000 to St. Jude's. This helps in advancing the research and treatment for these brave children. Not only is this great for the kids to meet these professional athletes, but it's also a reminder to the players and all of us truly what real strength and courage is all about.
I was real enthusiastic last night. It was a great win, a marathon match. But today's a different day, so now I want to come out here and win this match. Never been to semis. I've been in the quarters before. I've never been to semis of any tournament. Like I said, I think I got more heart than almost any of these guys. So if I can execute what I think and really give it all, like I said, I think I have a chance here. So.
I feel confident coming in here. It's been a strong tournament for me in the past couple of years. I had some close matches in the semifinals and tough losses, but I think I'm a little more focused on the final prize right now. So I'm excited about it. Andy likes to pound the ball. He's a shooter, likes to hit it hard and low, and my game plan today is get him off balance and force him into some awkward shots. Usually if I can do that, I can keep him out of the center court and control the rallies.
Aaron, here we are, men's pro quarterfinal. Andy Hawthorne, Rocky Carson. I'm more excited about this than I think you are, because I don't think you're giving Andy much of a chance. Am I right?
Well, I don't give Andy a chance, John. It's a great showing for Andy. It's a heck of a tournament. He's a good young player. Rocky's a seasoned veteran. He's been knocking at the door to be number 2, number 1 the last few years. Big opportunity for him with Kane out of the tournament. I think he's going to come very well prepared to play, and we're going to see if Andy can get past the deer in the headlights that a lot of young players seem to get here at the US Open when they make it to the stadium court underneath the lights.
Well, what I know about Andy Hawthorne, this guy is fast. He's a relentless player. He never gives up. Had just an absolute incredible match against Jason Thorner, the referee. And I'm telling you, I think you're going to be shocked, Aaron Katz, by what you're about to see out of Andy Hawthorne. This definitely will not be a blowout. I'm even giving Andy a possible game in this match.
Well, I'll give him a possible game.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, sure, a possible game.
A possible game. And, you know, for him to actually win this match, yeah, I wouldn't put money on it.
Well, who's being tough on the young guys now?
I'm not saying he's favored to win this, but in the past, Kyle Veenstra, boy, were you tough on this guy.
You know, I took a lot of heat for that, Sean, so I'm going to be much nicer today.
Rocky's looking good, though. Rocky is playing very tough right out the gate.
You know, I will say this. Andy looks prepared to play, looks focused, doesn't look like he's going to phone it in, as we've seen a couple, as we say, young players do in the quarters. Looks like he's going to come out, play aggressive. You know, the whole thing here is, Sean, he may show up to play, and he may just be a little bit outgunned here. You know, I think Rocky's got an awful lot of tools. He's very fast. I've been very impressed with how Rocky's game has evolved over the last several years, balancing power, touch, mental toughness. I mean, I really think Rocky's a threat to win this tournament. I was very impressed. I watched him beat Jack Huzak in the finals of the Amateur Nationals in Houston, and just thought he played a very mature, solid match against the current #1 player in the world.
Yeah, Rocky has really evolved as a player, the maturity level. And as you remember, that match last year against Kane was definitely the most exciting match that we've seen to date. And this guy, I mean, Rocky is definitely coming to take the #1 spot.
And he's in great shape. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Rocky, because not only do I think he's a very, very diligent player and really works on his game and always shows up prepared to play, he is absolutely one of the nicest guys, the best gentleman on the IRT Tour, always conducts himself on the court with great decorum, and off the court he is a fan favorite. Smart shot, forcing Andy to flick. Now, Sean, I think I'm going back on what I said, and I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't give Andy much of a chance to win a game here. I think he looks a little outmatched to me. He had a great win over Jason Thorner. I think Rocky is a little different animal.
Thank you.
If you notice what happened there, you don't see a lot of professionals giving up a call. Andy Hawthorne gets the call that he wanted, but gives it up to Rocky.
And Sean, you almost never see that in a professional that has aspirations to go to the semifinals of the US Open. Hey, you know what? This is a great experience for Andy.
good shot. Andy Hawthorne. Andy Hawthorne is definitely going to win this game one now. But, you know, it's too early to say, but he's working the bugs out.
Yeah, he's working hard. You know, he looks, as I said, I respect the fact he's shown up prepared to play. He's not going to roll over. That's clear. I just don't know that he's got the weapons to hurt Rocky.
That's just a tough shot by Rocky Carson. We talk about somebody with weapons. Rocky really does have a ton of weapons.
Yeah, he's got a big serve when he wants to. He's got, probably after Jason Menino, the best variety of lob serves on the tour. And he can move, and he's very fit. And he can hit with some heat.
Yeah, and he's got power to boot. So here's Rocky now, 6 serving 1. We're in game 1. Rocky thinking about a serve here. Oh, it's 1-6. We're going to take a little break here. Still in game 1 in this men's pro quarterfinal. We're back here. Andy Hawthorne lining up to drive serve against Rocky.
Side out. 6 serving 1.
Play ball today. Wake up. Let's go. Come on.
Andy talking to himself, telling himself to wake up. He wants to get in this match. You know, he feels in his own head that he can win. He said it in the interview. He said, if I just execute what my weapons are, which is speed and my forehand, I can win this match. He believes it.
Do you believe he believes it?
1 serving 6.
I think so. I think the guy's got so much heart, and after watching him play for a few years, I think sometimes the weapons, you can't just put the weapons against Rocky. Rocky's got him beat on pretty much all counts. However, Andy's got a ton of heart. Andy's got a ton of heart, and every once in a while, if you've seen the movie Rudy, heart really is all you need sometimes to prevail.
Well, you answered my question as to whether you believe he can win, Sean. Well, we'll give him a shot. He's a good young player, very, very quick, good hands, good feet. We'll just see, you know, if he can mount any kind of an assault against Rocky here.
It's a good get. Almost got that.
Again, Sean, it just looks to me as this match goes on, he just looks a little outgunned. Kind of looks like a man amongst boys with Rocky out there, dominating center court, nice and relaxed.
Just caught the crack of the side wall. Skip ball by Andy Hawthorne. So my theory's not holding too much water right now, as it's 9-2 Rocky Carson.
Now, Sean, I got to tell you, when you were espousing your theory, I did not feel a lot of conviction in it.
Well, I will tell you, as I was delivering my theory, I really did believe that Andy was going to come out smoking and put up a bigger fight than a 10-2 in 12 minutes. However long it's been very short here, and Rocky Carson's already got game point. But Andy not ready to give up yet, as he has another chance to throw some points on the board.
You know, I like Andy's style. He's kind of a throwback player. He doesn't hit with a lot of power. He's got very short, compact strokes. Not kind of the big boomer that we've seen come up in the last several years.
Side out. 10 serving 2.
Plays with a lot of heart. I like your Rudy analogy. Dives all over the place. He's scrapping.
Rocky with 10-2. Another chance to win game one.
Oh, my.
And he does. First game, Rocky Carson. We'll be right back for game two. Welcome back to Memphis, the men's pro quarterfinals. Andy Hawthorne up in the front, serving to Rocky Carson. Rocky with a thunderous.
Man, jeez, that was a missile pass. I mean, just ripped it, and it caught the crack on the side wall. It was going to be tough enough even if it didn't catch the crack. Whoa, rare skip from Rocky. I did not like Andy's choice of shots there. He stepped up relatively sheepishly to cut off that Z serve and gave Rocky a setup, and I think Rocky was actually surprised he was left with that easy a shot.
Andy going with a drive serve. Drive Z, that's a good one too.
Wow, that's an awkward shot.
And there's a point for Andy Hawthorne.
1-0.
You know, it's critical that if Andy is going to get in this match at all, he's got to get off to an early start. You really sense that the wind got taken out of his sails by about 5-1, 6-1 in that first game. So I think the start is really critical.
Good serve.
Great serve, set up with the backhand.
That's nice execution of racquetball right there. Great serve, got the return he wanted. Stayed down on the ball. That's one thing that Andy's great at, is bending his legs and getting down there, hitting nice flat shots.
Yep. Yeah, nice, good start for him. He's up 2-0. Let's see if he can get some momentum going here. Good serve again.
Came off the back wall a little bit.
Yeah, at this level, and again, this is a great experience for Andy to be playing in this environment. At this level, against a player of Rocky Carson's stature, you're going to get punished for that serve.
Good ball, point.
Just barely skipped. Again, if you're watching racquetball for the first time, a skip ball is when it hits the ground first. You'll hear us use that terminology quite a bit. A kill shot when you hit the ball as low as you can on the front wall, keeping your opponent from getting it. Got to get the ball on one bounce. One serve. There's no fault serves in this, and it's the best 3 out of 5 to 11.
Yeah, and I like Andy's idea there. He went over. You know, Rocky kind of telegraphs this serve, even though he's capable of mixing it up. Stepped over, cut it off aggressively. He just skipped the last couple. Great get there by Rocky. Set up for Andy. Ooh. Yeah, that's a rally Andy needs to win. He had a couple of offensive opportunities. Got a little bit cautious and didn't play quite as aggressively as he needed to. And that 2-0 lead is now dissipated, and Rocky's got a 3-2 lead. Again, critical that Andy hangs in there, doesn't fall too far behind.
That's a good shot.
Great shot. Very, very patient. And a very aggressive shot. Had the setup rather than going for a passing shot. He just buried that pinch in the corner. The pinch we've talked a lot about. That was a tight pinch in that it hit the side wall very close to the front wall.
Hold it. Backswing now. Point. 3-3.
What was that?
Point. Called an avoidable hinder. Nobody's arguing it.
Avoidable hinder on who?
I'm a little lost, but I think it's a good time for you to define an avoidable hinder.
Well, I don't know if it's a good time because I didn't see an avoidable hinder there.
Yeah, it's not a good example, however.
I'll define it anyway, Sean. An avoidable hinder is when the player who creates a hinder takes away an offensive opportunity from the player and they lose the point, as opposed to a normal hinder where all it is a play over.
But neither one of us saw not necessarily an avoidable hinder, but I didn't see so much as just a regular hinder.
Yeah, it looked like Rocky may have called it on himself. A nice little run here for Andy to go up 5-3. Again, he needs to take advantage of every opportunity, every break, every momentum shift he can.
Great serve.
6-3.
Boy, and he looks like he's really working into the match now. Very confident up in the box. He's hit 3 or 4 very, very good serves.
Rocky asking how many timeouts he has. Definitely thinking about taking one here. Could be playing with the mind of Andy Hawthorne as well.
You know, that has not traditionally been Rocky's style. Set up off the back wall. Good shot.
Three serving 6.
And Andy, again, he's shown up to play. If he can keep this up, get some breaks, which I think he's going to need. That's a setup off the back wall. Wow.
That's a great athletic shot by Rocky Carson.
Phenomenal shot. He really was caught out of position on the shot before. Got trapped behind Andy. Andy missed his shot by a little, but not terribly. And Rocky, sliding on his knees, somehow flicked the backhand re-kill in the left corner. Good serve by Rocky and a very nice ceiling ball by Andy.
6 serving 4.
And that's a good shot for Andy to play. Very smart, very conservative, drill it down the line. And I think if Rocky's got a weakness, it's that re-kill on the hard passing shot down the line.
Skip.
It's a skip ball, another point for Andy Hawthorne. 7-4.
Great jam serve, gets his set up.
Side out.
And it's a side out. We're going to take a timeout here.
4 serving
serving 7 in game 2. Rocky Carson leads the series 1-0. Welcome back. Rocky Carson serving to Andy Hawthorne.
That's a good choice by Andy. Ceiling ball.
That's
Point.
just tough.
5 serving 7.
Couple of good ceiling balls by Andy. That was a very awkward shot. You don't see players step up to cut off the lob serve too often and go to the ceiling. But I like the decision. He didn't have an opportunity to swing at it. And by cutting it off and going to the ceiling, he still gave Rocky a little less time to back up and shoot the next ball.
Point, hold it. Call the point there.
And that's a good call.
6 serving 7.
When he's on the ground, he's in front of him. Referee just automatically has to call the point.
Yeah, avoidable hinder. You know, if you dive and the dive creates the hinder, unless the other player is really stretched out, you're almost certainly going to get called for the avoidable, and that was a good call there. This is a critical game for Andy. If he does not get out of this game, I think it's going to be very tough for him to come back in the third game. Again, that's a good play against Rocky. Not that he's got any glaring weaknesses, but one area where I've seen some of the top players exploit is a hard drive to his backhand side up in the front court. I think he's a little slower with his racket than some of the other top players.
And he's sticking with that drive serve, though. And goes to the forehand of Rocky. And Rocky makes him pay for it.
It makes him pay, but Andy hit a great serve there.
But that just goes to show you, Rocky's got such a great forehand.
It's a fair point. Fair point. When you've got to hit something so perfect to be successful, you probably want to stay away from that.
That'd be a decent piece of advice for Andy at this point. I mean, I like the idea of mixing serves up.
7 serving
7. But, you know, if you're playing Rocky Carson, you just kind of have to
stay away from the forehand. Just stay to the backhand, huh?
That's bottom line.
You know, I think that's sage advice from the wily Sean Royster.
And just like that, Andy loses his lead, all tied up here, 7-all in game 2.
Whoa.
Rocky takes the lead.
Yeah, now that's an incredible shot. And Andy, you can tell, was a little frozen because he thought he had a perfect ceiling ball. And then there's Rocky, shoulder height, bringing it down and just rolling it out. It's a good example of why this is a good experience for Andy. He's got to play through that shot, and he's got to be a little more prepared at this level. These guys hit spectacular shots. That's why they're the best in the world.
It's 9-7 now.
And Andy really needs to turn it around quick here. I'd like to see him call a timeout. Really like to see him take a timeout. Good get.
Point. 10, serving 7.
Nice run for Andy this game. Got up 7-4, worked his way into it. Looks like it's going to slip away. I'm not bullish on his chances in the third game if this does in fact slip away. But again, a great tournament, good showing here, very respectable. I think this will really take Andy to the next level on the IRT Tour.
Well, here is Rocky Carson with a chance to win game 2 and go up 2-0. But Andy's still in it.
7, serving 10.
Playing with a lot of pride.
Shot, Andy.
I told you about the heart of Andy Hawthorne. You know, he's never going to give up. Pound for pound, even though it doesn't seem like he has got as many weapons as Rocky Carson, he's never going to give up. I'd like to see
10, serving 7.
what's going to happen here. If it's 2-0, it is, to your point, a tall order for Andy to come back and try to win this. And here's Rocky with the second attempt at the game.
Nice lob, Nick.
Chip.
Ooh.
Start out. 7, serving 10.
Andy Hawthorne still drive serving into Rocky's forehand. Another point for Andy Hawthorne.
8, serving 10.
Now let's see if the crowd can help Andy out here a little bit. Needs to climb back in here. 2 quick points, send it into racquetball overtime. It'd get pretty exciting.
Chip. Start out.
Ooh, had a great opportunity there. Hit a good serve. Rocky gave him a setup off the back wall. Skipped it. Let's see if Rocky closes it out here. When you're a veteran like Rocky, the last thing you want to do is let an up-and-coming young player like this work his way into the match when it looks like he's got a little bit of a deer in the headlights going.
And there it is. Rocky Carson wins game 2 and goes up 2-0 in the series. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Rocky Carson dominating the match so far. Kind of an expected thing with Rocky being the #2 player in the world, a veteran. Has had a bunch of big matches on this court. Get that. Very, very good rally.
Yep.
And this is Andy's first time, if you're just joining us, Andy's first time in this big match on this court.
Again, Andy's in there plugging. I think your point is well taken, Sean, that he's a good young player, plays with a lot of energy, and brings a lot of fire to the court.
Wow, great rally. Andy comes out on top of that one.
Both very quick hands, quick feet up front. Very exciting pro racquetball with a lot of play happening within the first 25 feet of the court. Uncommon to see that at the amateur level, but at this level they hit the ball so hard and low, you got to move a little further forward. Wow.
0, serving 1.
And stuck in the corner, you know, we talked about how when it catches the sidewall, how it comes off the back wall, and it's a much easier setup. But that one caught the back wall first and slid wallpaper right on that wall, and Rocky still thundered it down.
I think Andy hit that serve about right where he wanted to. And again, how Andy responds to this is going to be critical. When you first get up to this level of the pros, you have to be real careful not to get intimidated by some of the spectacular shots that you're not used to seeing. So how Andy responds to Rocky's sliding kill shots, hitting his best serve and rolling it out, things that Andy's not accustomed to seeing, is really going to be a test of his mental toughness and his preparedness to play at this level.
At 1-1, Andy's got to think this is the time. He's got to get these points on the board right now and go into it with a lead so he can get some confidence going. Because if there's a big lead coming from Rocky, man, it's a tall order to come back and try to get into this match so where he can put himself in a place to win. That's tough.
1-1.
Again, I like the fact that Andy's continuing to play aggressive. Rocky's hitting that Z serve, which is a very tough serve if you let it get into the side wall. Andy's stepping up very confidently and attacking that ball, and has put a lot of pressure on Rocky with that return. That's long serve.
1-1.
It's a good shot.
I like Rocky's adjustment there. Rocky recognized that by hitting that Z serve softly, Andy was able to go cut it off. So he got down, drove the Z serve. Andy backed off it, let it get into the side wall, but the same result, still rolled it out in the left corner. Good angle.
Oh,
Shot point.
Great shot.
kind of a fadeaway, off-balance shot from 40 feet away. That was beautiful.
Now, this is actually the most poised, the most relaxed I've seen Andy the whole match. Even when he had that lead in the second game, he didn't quite look like he was in a rhythm like he is now. I liked his body language here. I like his shot selection. Looks like he's in a good rhythm on the serve. Good flick. Back wall set up. Just skipped it.
172.
Rocky serving one, serves two. That's tough.
Yeah, and again, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Andy made a very, very aggressive attempt on that return of serve. Rocky got him a little off balance rather than hitting that Z serve that Andy had gotten relatively comfortable with. He hit a straight lob down the line, and Andy gave him a setup.
All tied up at 2 apiece. If you notice how much Rocky cuts balls off in the front court, I gotta attribute some of that style to the outdoor game, as Rocky is the best outdoor racquetball player. He's the #1 player out there, and he's the #2 player indoors. And you see a lot of what he does outside, inside these courts.
I agree. Now, Sean, can give a little description, because I'm not that familiar with the outdoor game, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers are not either. What is outdoor racquetball?
Well, outdoor racquetball has just 3 walls. It has the front wall and the 2 side walls and no back wall. So, and the lines, there'll be lines kind of where the back wall would be in the indoor game. So it has to stay within those lines. So that forces you, what you would normally take a high shot that would come off the back wall would be a setup. You'd have to cut that off before it goes completely out the back door. So you see Rocky come up and play very good up in the front court and take balls that are going 180 miles an hour right at him. He has to have that presence of mind instead of being patient and letting it come off the back wall. Since there's no back wall, he's got to cut all that off, and you see him do a ton of that stuff indoors. And really what's amazing about Rocky is he's the best, literally the best, both indoors and outdoors right now.
There was a player during my era that was a good indoor player, was never as good as Rocky, never a threat to be #1 like Rocky is, but was dominant in the outdoor.
Brian Hawks.
Brian Hawks. Still play outdoor at all?
He does. Brian still plays, and he is kind of like the indoors equivalent to Cliff Swain. He is the greatest outdoor player, most accomplished. He's like the legend of the outdoor game. I mean, he's got something like 16 or 17 national titles, you know, straight.
And can he still compete with the likes of a Rocky Carson?
He can. Just recently, I think this last year was the first time that Rocky actually beat Brian Hawks, and it's the first time that Brian had actually lost in years.
Oh, wow.
Call the ball skip there up.
As we're talking about all this
6-7-2.
outdoor stuff, I look up at the scoreboard, Andy Hawthorne with a 6-2 lead.
And I'm not that surprised, Sean. He, as I said, at 2-1 there, he really looks to me like he's worked his way into this match.
I couldn't tell you either. Tell you the ref was wrong. I don't know if the shot was good, but the ref's definitely wrong.
6-2.
Rocky gets the serve back. We'll be right back here as we're going to take a little break. Rocky Carson, Andy Hawthorne.
Andy again going to cut it off.
Set up off the back ball.
Oh, boy.
Point.
That's a tough point for Andy to lose. He probably should have had an avoidable. I think a more experienced pro would have been able to draw the avoidable call from the ref, but he played through, and then he had a dead setup. Rocky had actually stopped, and I think he was anticipating Rocky may go charging over to cover the down the line, so he ripped across court, and Rocky was standing right there and was able to reflick it.
That's just great stuff by Rocky Carson.
You hate to harp too much on one point, but that last point, Andy had a setup. He could have had the serve back on a roll, leading 6-2. Instead, he's receiving serve. Rocky at 4-6. Good sign there that Andy hit that shot. Andy, again, is very, very similar feel to that second game, and you just have the sense that Andy needs to really tighten it up here, extend this lead a little bit to win this game.
Seemed like he was hesitating. Andy kind of launched a little late on that.
Yeah, again, I think a more experienced player may have been able to draw a hinder on that call. I thought he was a little bit screened by Rocky.
Rocky 4-6.
Great cutoff by Andy.
That's a great executed rally by Andy Hawthorne.
Again, Andy very nice and aggressive on the return of serve, driving it down the line. Again, a little bit of a weakness of Rocky's. Rocky flicked an easy setup. Andy cut it off and pinch rolled it in the corner.
And a short serve.
That's something you don't see too often at this level, a short serve off a lob. Now, you see it quite often on a drive serve, but lob serve they usually put in play.
Rocky sticking with his lob to Andy's backhand. Nice shot.
Point. 5-7-6.
Again, I like Andy's choice. He didn't have great success with it there, but he stepped up, played aggressive, cut it off. I think I like it better when he hits that ball down the line or pinches it versus goes cross court, but I still like the idea that he's hanging in there, playing aggressive, trying to put pressure on Rocky.
Look at that. Rocky's hitting the ball so hard right now.
Oh boy.
Look at that thunder right there. I just can't believe how hard Rocky's hitting the ball right now.
He is just crushing that forehand. I'm going to go back to your point, Sean. If I was Andy, I think I'd almost eliminate the right side of the court as a place to hit the ball because there seems to be a huge difference right now between Rocky's forehand and Rocky's backhand.
Yeah, he is just rocketing balls off of that forehand side from the serve to in the middle of the rallies, everything. That's a tough backhand by Andy Hawthorne.
6-7-6.
Very tough shot because Rocky actually was effective with his serve there. He forced Andy to stay back in the court. Andy had been pretty consistently coming up to cut that off, and I thought there he did a really nice job.
Replay. 6 serving 6.
Again, you know, these two are real gentlemen. You don't see the players holding up too often at this level. Usually they take their shot and look to the ref and ask for an avoidable.
And Rocky's looking back, smiling a little bit. He definitely feels like that should have been an avoidable hinder.
Yeah, you can't give that avoidable. You got to take that shot, give the player a chance to jump up, set up off the back wall.
Start out.
A very well-constructed point there by Rocky. Moved the ball left, moved the ball right, got us set up, and then took his time, very patiently rolled out a pinch in the left corner.
And now that lead that Andy had has been squashed as Rocky has tied it up here, 6 serving 6.
That's a great shot by Rocky.
Rocky Carson serving to Andy Hawthorne, a Z to the backhand side.
Great serve.
It's a good get. Another good get.
Set up off the back wall.
That's a great shot by Rocky Carson.
And there's that outdoor shot that you were talking about, Sean. You don't see that too often in the indoor game where a player cuts off a ceiling ball like that.
Three more points, and Rocky has won this match and moved on to the semifinals. And he's getting there at shots like that.
Yeah, and again, a nice adjustment. We talked a lot about how Andy was going and cutting off all those Z serves. Last 2 Z serves, Rocky's added a little bit of pace to him, making it tougher for Andy to cut it off, driving him deep in the court. Same thing. That time Andy steps up, puts it off the back wall.
Point.
Easy cleanup work for Rocky. And you see Rocky feeling it, pumping his fist, knowing this is almost over. And again, he's a smart enough player that he did not underestimate Andy Hawthorne. He came out here, brought his A game.
So here we are, Rocky Carson serving for the match. He wins this, moves on to the semifinals. 10 serving 6.
Another great Z serve, set up front.
And that's it. Rocky Carson moves to the semifinals and beats Andy Hawthorne in 3 straight games. For myself, Sean Royster, and my partner here, Aaron Katz, thank you for watching Racquetball on the Tennis Channel.